to cut the tape. 3. Okay, today we're going to learn about matter, okay? What makes matter and what doesn't make matter, okay? So what I did is I copied just some pages out of the Science Fusion workbook, so that way we can have them in front of us if we didn't have the big old books in front of us. Okay, so I want you to just look at this first picture. Don't talk or anything, just look at the first picture, and I want you to think about, what is matter? What does that mean, matter? Think of science, okay? So we're thinking about science. Maybe you've heard the word before in your other classes. What is matter? No, just think. And then I want you to turn and talk to a friend. You can talk to each other, you can talk to each other, and then, or you know what, you talk to each other, you talk to each other, and you talk to me. Okay? So, and when you talk to each other, I want you to use those words. Matter is, and then finish, okay? So we're going to use that sentence stem. Matter is, and then you finish the sentence. Got it? You think y'all know?
Yes.
All right, talk to each other and go. Okay, so tell me what you think matter is.
I think matter is
See if the picture can help. What do you think? Do you think maybe it could be water?
Because there are 3 matter that's liquid, solid, and gas.
Exactly. So you guys know a lot of this, which is really good. Okay, let's bring it together. Let's bring it together. So now we talked about what matter was, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go around the table, and you're going to tell me matter is, and you can, and even if someone says what you said, you can say it again and maybe add a little something extra to it. Okay, if you can, go. Matter is.
Matter is something like it sinks or float, I think.
Okay, something that maybe sinks or float. Okay.
Matter is, I think it's the amount of mass that something has.
The amount of mass that something has. You know what? Let me write this down so we don't forget. Because at the end of the lesson, we're going to double check ourselves. It's always good to double check ourselves. So we have, oops, that's not good. Let's try a different one. Yep, that one works. So matter is, and you gave me something that sinks or floats, correct? Something that sinks or floats. Okay, and what was our other one? Matter is
the amount of mass that something has.
The amount of mass something has. Okay. Okay, next. What do you think matter is?
I think matter is.
What did you tell me? Matter is?
Like liquid, solid, and gas.
Okay, matter is liquid, solid, and gas. Okay?
I think matter is like a solid.
Okay, so matter is a solid. Great. Okay, and last? Matter is
like a gas or a liquid.
Okay, so matter is a gas or liquid. Are we good with all of those?
Yes.
Okay, so if we were to read these again, you could easily just use our sentence stem here that says matter is something that sinks or floats. Matter is the amount of mass something has. Matter is
liquid.
Solid and gas.
Matter is solid. Matter is a gas or liquid.
Okay, so this is what we think, right? Some of us might be pretty sure, because if science is your thing, right? You know it. Cool. So these are, what is it called when we think? It's a what? It's like a guess. It's an educated guess.
Inference.
An inference. Perfect. It's an inference. We can even call it just that, an educated guess, right? This is what we think it is. Once we read more, we'll know. All right. So what I want you to do very quickly is I want you to pick a color. I want you to look at the whole package, and I want you to highlight anything that you think stands out. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for titles, subheadings, pictures, graphs, anything that you think can help us know what this whole lesson is about. Ready? Go. I'm going to give you just a few minutes. So go quickly. It's still recording what you guys do. And when you're done, I want you to put your highlighter in front of your packet so I know you're done. One more friend. So real quick, I'm just going to show you how we would have done that, right? And you guys probably, it looked like you guys already knew how to do this, right? What do we know what that's called when you're looking at subtitles or subheadings, pictures, bolded words? What is that called? I know you guys studied it not too long ago.
Bold words are like important words that are different. Like they're capitalized, but like they're like, it's like different type of words. Like it could be curved, it could be colored,
right?
It could be...
So, but what are that called? It's text
features.
Features, and you guys actually went over that because I was in your class one time when I saw y'all going through that. Okay, so text features are again titles. Usually, the titles are things that are important to us, right? They're important. The author who wrote this lesson knows that that title is something. What are some physical properties? So what is this going to be about?
Physical properties.
Physical properties. And then I can look and I see umbrellas. I see the water. Those are all things that I need to pay attention to because they're probably
physical properties.
Physical properties. So then I turn the page It's everything. It's everything. So that means it's what? Physical property is?
Everything.
Everything. And then I see a ball and I see sand. And right here, this whole thing is bolded. Matter can be different colors. Textures, the way something feels. All of that's important. Why? Because it's what? The words are what? Are they written the regular way, like the ones on top?
No.
No, they're
Bold.
bolded. Right, but here it is again. Look, there's matter. Here's physical properties, and it gives us a definition.
Miss, I found a clue. What batteries everything is the other page. So that means the ball has to be matter. This has to be matter.
Exactly. And then when you turn the page, guess what? Turn over. The word is bolded again. And it's already what? Highlighted for us. So now it's after this one. Right here. It gives us a definition. And we can look and we can say, oh, okay. Sometimes it's not that clear, right? Sometimes they give us a bolded word and we have to use our context clues. And you have to try to figure out what it means based on the sentence, right? No biggie. We can do that. So you turn it, and again, there's another bolded word. There's how much mass. Then it tells us about measuring it and what we can use to measure it. Here's another one. What's the volume, right? Sink or float. Oh, I'm hearing a lot of things you guys are telling me. Okay? So again, these are just things when you're reading, you're looking for your titles, hot and cold, temperature, there's your bolded word. So before you start reading, that's a good thing to do, right? That's a great strategy to do. Look through your reading. You guys are getting ready to do a big district test, right? Make sure we're looking for those things first. That's going to help us. So talking about vocabulary and talking about how some of these are, what I did is I cut up some different vocabulary cards. You can use your packet to help you, but I have matter, I have mass, I have float, balance, sink, thermometer, and temperature. Now, I have the definitions here, which I think you guys can handle, but I'm going to get those out of the way. And I want you to look at the pictures and decide which picture goes with what word. Okay? So again, let's look at the words. We have matter. We have, hold on, let me pick it up. Thermometer. We have
mass.
We have
Sink.
we have
Float.
we have
Balance.
and we have
Temperature.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to just put them here. I'm going to move my paper a little bit out of the way. And you're going to put it to one side because on the other side goes the definition. Okay, so let's just kind of spread them out so everybody can have a turn to find something. Okay, so look at your pictures and put it next to the word you think. Or you know what, better yet, let's make a vocabulary chart over here. Okay, so I'm going to take these. You keep looking at your pictures. And while I do that, I can also find the definition that goes with the picture you have. Look for it, see if you can figure it out. And use your packet if you need to. If you think you saw something in your packet that described your word or your definition. And you for sure can help each other, so if you're not sure, ask. So that maybe someone can help you. Okay, does everyone think you have it? Yeah. Okay, so let's take turns so we're not all up here together. Let's start with you. Bring your pictures. let me grab, we'll just use the tape. I'm going to give you 2 pieces of tape and tape it under the word you think yours belongs to. Actually, put some tape on the side right here. I'm going to put the tape right here, guys. So when you come up, you can just grab it.
Okay.
Okay, next. Just bring them. You can leave some on the table and then, or put them right there. It's up to you. Just grab some tape. I'm gonna make sure we're still recording. When she's done, the next person can go. So far, does it look right? Good. You want to start too, since you have so many, you can go and start. Does everything look right? Right? I think you guys did a great job. Let's give ourselves a big round of applause. What? Oh, wait. Which one do you think is wrong?
Balance and math.
Balance and math. Go ahead and do it for me then. And it's okay if you tear the paper a little bit. Pull it. It's okay. You can just put more. And there should be more tape up there. So yeah, we're doing a good job. Thank you for checking that. Perfect. Is that better now? Everybody good with that now?
Yeah.
Right, thumbs up? Awesome. So then now we check to make sure that it was correct. So now we know what temperature is, we know what matter is, we know what float. So again, when I'm doing a reading, especially if it's a reading that I'm not sure of, I always try to look at the vocabulary. That helps me to kind of have a better understanding what I'm about to read, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to just look at the text one more time. We're going to look at the text, and we're going to look at the titles. And I want to show you something. Sometimes you can look at a title, and then you can ask a question based on that. So one of them is, it's everywhere. I mean, it's everything, right?
Yeah.
So then, how can I make that a question? How can I make that statement, it's everything? How can I make that a question? How is it everything? What's another way I can make it a question?
What is everything?
What is everything? Right? We don't know. We would have to keep reading. So, how is it everything? What is everything? Those are all great ways to ask questions. So, I want you to find a different statement, something that's either a title, a subheading, or a bolded sentence, and I want you to make it a question. You can't use how much mass, because that's already a question, right? But maybe you can change the question. So look real quick and think of something, like you can use a definition, but make it a question. So if I said, let me give you another example, because I know sometimes this could be difficult. You can make that a question. So here it says, matter is anything that takes up space. How can I make that a question? What is something that takes up space? And now you give me the answer, right? So I can write that. Let me use yours because yours is darker. So instead of saying matter is everything that takes up space, I'm going to say, what is anything that takes up space? That takes up space, question mark. Okay? That tells me I'm answering my own question, then I get to answer my own question. So with yours, it can be anything you see. It can be another vocabulary word. It can be another title, whatever you want it to be. So I want you to make up your own now. I'm only going to give you a few minutes because we're going to go on and start reading.
What is
Okay. You can do it. Maybe change it. Don't say what is sink or float. You can say
What? How does it sink or float?
how does, maybe put an object in there. Or can a
Or can they sink or float?
Can a put? Well, you need an object though. Can a feather sink or float? Can a
ball?
Okay. You might want to be more specific and say what kind of ball, right? Because a soccer ball and a baseball are way different.
Wait, I just put it in.
So think of a specific
They have
ball.
a different type of batter.
Exactly.
For the beach.
Right? A beach ball. Those are some things you want to think about. Now, we're going to leave those questions there. We're going to come back to those in a little bit, okay? So just leave those questions there, and we're going to start. What we're going to start doing is we're going to start reading. I'm going to start with the first page, and you're going to follow along. And then I'm going to let you partner read with each other, okay? So you'll be my partner, and then you'll two be each other's partner, and you'll take turns partner reading while I'm kind of listening as well. Okay, so we're going to start here. And again, because of the way the text is, we have to kind of go everywhere. So make sure you're following along. We're going to start at the very top. And if you want, you can point. If not, you don't have to. It helps me. Or I can also give you a card. And sometimes using the card as a tracker helps me also. So like, yep, perfect. So I'm going to start all the way at the top. Essential question. Essential question, it's an important question. So I want you to pay attention to that. What are some physical properties? So then here it says engage your brain. And right here where you see the little picture of the brain.
Yeah.
Find the answer to the question in this lesson and record it here. How can you compare these beach umbrellas? We're not going to do that right now. We'll come back to that. That could be something we'll do when I let you guys just work independently. So now we're at active reading. Lesson vocabulary. We are going to do this one. List the terms that make notes in the interactive glossary as you learn more. So what that means is right here, I want you to look for all your bolded words and write them down. Yeah, do it right now with your highlighter. So anything that's bolded. So like the first one would be what?
Matter.
Matter. That's your first one. So this one right here. You're going to write it over here. Come back and then write it right there. Here. And you can use the card if you don't want to keep flipping back and forth. use the card, write it on the card, and then come back and write it up here. And then I can give you another one because we're going to need the cards for something else. I know. It's the kind of copies. Okay, cool. Again, when you're done, you put the top on your highlighter and put it in front of you. That's how I know you're done. A few more minutes, or seconds really. Okay. Almost done. No more friends. Perfect. Okay. Highlighters in front of you or next to you, just out of the way. So now we're going to go back to reading. We're going to go back to where it says compare and contrast. You see that?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to continue. You're following along. Make sure you're listening and following along. Compare and contrast. Many ideas in this lesson are connected because they explain comparison and contrast, how things are alike and different. Active readers stay focused on comparison and contrast when they ask themselves, how are things alike? How are they different? Okay, so these are just things I want you to think about while you're reading. So now I'm going to let you go ahead and read with each other. If you want to answer the questions, you may. You don't have to right now. I'm really just wanting to hear you read, okay? I really want to see you read. If you want, again, if you want to take the minute, it's going to take a few seconds to answer these. You're more than welcome, okay? So I'm going to give us maybe 3 to 5 minutes because it's not a lot of reading, and then we're going to continue. Yes? All right, and y'all can decide how y'all want to read. We're going to do page to page. So he'll read one page, I'll read one page. He'll read one page, I'll read one page. Okay? Go.
What is matter? Everything.
Okay, let's hold on. Let's whisper read. Because there's too many of us. Okay, here we go.
What is matter? What is matter? On this page, around this page,
Read the first box.
the picture as you would draw a line under each object and review what is the picture of matter? Matter can be color, right? Distance can be color. What is the texture?
You want to answer those now or you want to come back?
Matter can be different colors.
Matter is anything that takes up space. Your science book takes up more space than a pencil does. Did you know that the two things can take up the same space? You describe matter by naming its physical properties. A physical property is a characteristic of matter that you can observe or measure directly. Look at the boxes to learn about some properties of matter. Hardness describes how easily an object shape can be changed. Name hard objects you see. Size is how big something is. Which object is the biggest that takes up the most space? Shape is a form of an object has. What word can you describe to use the two smallest shells?
How much matter? Why is it so difficult to measure a bucket full of water? Would it be easy to carry the water in the corner compared to the church? Measure the amount of matter and object that often happens. Mass is also a measure how hard it is to move an object. The more mass an object has, the harder it is to move the object. How much mass? How can you measure the mass of fan, water, or other materials in the bucket. Check out the next page.
Okay. So on this page, let's see. We use the pan balance to measure mass. The pan balance measures mass in grams. How can you measure the mass that contains in the bucket? To find the mass, you collect and analyze the information from the pan balance. So then it tells you find the mass of the container alone, then the mass with the content. Okay.
Mass is also a measure of how matter takes place. How can you measure the mass of mass is also a measure of volume is the amount of space that is equal to the volume an object has of a cube of a rectangle. How can you measure the mass of sand, water, and other materials in a bucket? Check out the next page.
Okay. So we use a graduated cylinder to measure the volume of liquid. The units are in milliliters. You can also use it to find the volume of a solid. So you see how they're using it there? They have the liquid there. Okay. So collect information by reading the levels of water in the graduated cylinder. This is the volume of water. Add a shell and collect the information again. What is the volume of water and the shell? Okay.
Sink or float. Something has the ability to float on water, other things do. How can you ask the ability of matter to float? One typical property is the ability to sink or float. Some objects float on water, but others sink. You can test the ability of something to sink or float by placing it in the water.
What's the value?
To float will stay at the water.
The bottom.
How do you measure the amount of space?
Oh, okay, I got you. I'm sorry.
Objects that sink will go to the bottom
As you
of
read the
water.
next page,
Some
check on the
objects
other
that
what you can use to
will
measure
float
volume. Under
and
them, it's units to
also objects flow more easily in salt water than they do in
is
fresh
the amount
water.
of space it takes up.
Find the volume of the water.
Okay. So then it says record it. Observe each object to test whether it sinks or floats in the water. So you can record. We can just look at them real quick. So the surfboard is, what is the surfboard? Sinking or floating? The anchor and the ducks.
And height of a small cube below 1 centimeter. Do the math.
Hot and cold. Temperature of it is a property of matter. You can test the temperature of matter by touching it. How can you measure temperature? Temperature is a measure of how warm something is. You use a thermometer to measure the temperature. Thermometers use a scale of numbers to show temperature. There are 2 scales that are frequently used. Most of the water reports the Fahrenheit scale. On this scale, water becomes ice at 32 degrees. Water boils at 212 degrees. Other scale is Celsius scale. On this scale, the water becomes ice at 0 degrees. The water boils at 100 degrees.
Okay. So then measure the temperature of the air and the water. Record the answers on the line. Then color to show the thermometer. Then the color shows the thermometer. So air temperature here. So in Fahrenheit, which is on this side, well Celsius, it's like 33 degrees. And then in Fahrenheit, it's almost like 90 degrees. Right? Let's look at this water temperature. You do that one. Celsius. No, look at Celsius first. Okay, and then Fahrenheit. Okay, so with your highlighter, read this one. The sand's temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So can you color 37 degrees Celsius?
than they do in fresh water. This boy is testing the ability
The Celsius
of
30.
these items to
You're on this side, but you go all the way up, because that's negative. Keep going. All the way up. Okay. Yep. Okay, so let's sum it up. So this part you're gonna do on your own. Everybody does have to do the sum up part at the end when y'all get to the end, okay? On this page. It's like a quick check. It's kind of like an exit ticket almost. We're not done, but we're almost done. Okay, so it says, y'all keep reading. When you're done, you answer the answer key to check. So write the vocabulary term that matches the picture in the caption. So you read the sentence, look at the picture, and using our vocabulary, if you don't know, go back and double check. Write what word this describes. Okay? And you guys keep going until you're done.
We use a thermometer to measure temperature.
We're doing it by ourselves. We're not sharing answers.
Thermometer uses scale of numbers to show temperature. These two scales that use most weather reports use the Fahrenheit scale. On this scale, water becomes ice at 32 degrees. Water boils at 212 degrees. The other scale is the Celsius scale. On this scale, water becomes ice at 0 degrees. Water boils at 100 degrees.
Let's do the back page.
So we're going to check the answer key.
No, you don't have the answer. Oh, yes, you do. Yeah, check it. Just whatever one you think. If you're not sure, go back into your packet.
What's the right?
Yeah. And then go ahead and write it in so you won't forget.
It's not a confusion to that, but I'm going to put it in volume, so I put it in.
Okay. Here's a trigger. because they all kind of are about
I
matter,
was
right?
not confused.
No?
But this was confusing because with a lot of space.
So when you think of space, you think of matter.
Yeah, because the definition right here says takes up space.
And I didn't confuse with that, but I just was wondering.
Or this one takes up space and has matter.
Right. Okay. And then down here is your answer key. You can check it. So then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of do another assessment. This for sure is going to be our way to close the whole lesson, okay? So remember we went back and we were asking, we looked at the certain titles and subheadings so that we could ask questions. So on your card, you're going to write down your question. Because then I'm going to shuffle them up and I'm going to ask each of you a question. And I'm going to see, that's your exit ticket out. Okay, you need another one here? Yeah, you did on the back. So write your question. If you want to do a different one, if you don't want to use the same one you had, that's fine. If you want to use a different one or create a different one, that's fine. It's up to you.
Okay, I think there's something wrong there. What about that?
Just change it right on top. Something else. Yep, you got it. You done? Okay. And I know not to use that color for y'all because that's your question. That's why I gave y'all different colors. Okay. All right, so here we go. Actually, I'm going to ask everybody the questions. So, the only one who doesn't have to answer it is the one that wrote it. So, you don't have to answer. Can a baseball sink or float? Sink, because it goes down, or put your hand here, float. Ready, go. Can a baseball sink or float? What do you think? Okay. Sink. Okay. I think you guys are all right, but there is one factor that we didn't think about.
What?
Depends on what
mass
of water it is.
That's what I think.
If I throw it in the ocean, is it gonna sink?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Probably not. But if I put it in a bucket of water, it'll probably sink, right? 'Cause
But
it's
the
not
mass, if the mass is a little bit stronger, like a lot of mass, it will go down.
right, exactly.
And the baseball has a lot of mass.
Okay, so this is your question, so you don't have to answer. What can be matter? Give me an answer. What's matter? Give me an example of matter.
Like.
Hold on, let's try first.
Matter is something that takes space.
Okay.
So it should be probably an umbrella because it takes a lot of space, or a crowd.
Okay, that's true.
So,
Okay.
I think matter is like something that like liquid. Like
Okay.
liquid.
Right, that's an example of matter, right? Okay, what is matter?
It's something that can float.
Okay. What is-
Matter can be solid, liquid, or gas.
Yep, good. Okay, so this is orange, so you don't answer. Can a soccer ball float or sink? Again, float or down, sink. What do y'all think? Ready, go.
It depends.
You think that one depends as well?
Yes.
Okay. I think, this is my opinion, we wouldn't really know. We don't really know unless we actually do an experiment, right? So this is all going to be our inferencing because we don't know. It's a hypothesis of sorts. I think it's gonna float, no matter what you put it in.
Yeah, because one time I went to the Blue Lagoon. Have you been there? Blue Lagoon.
Oh no, I haven't been there.
I had a soccer ball afterwards in the ocean, and it was floating.
Oh no. Okay. Next one. What can sink or float? Okay, so this was your question, so you don't have to answer. So the rest of us, what can sink or float? So just pick one. When I come to you, you're going to tell me if something sinks or something floats. Okay, so you're going to give me a sentence stem saying blank sinks, blank floats. And if you want to tell me why, that's fine. But let me check my phone.
Like an object?
An object can, yeah, you think of an object that can sink or float.
I can think of one.
Okay, so it was her question, so we're going to actually start over here. Okay, tell me something that sinks or floats.
A pencil can float.
Okay.
A book can float.
Okay.
Wait,
what can float?
a book. A bug.
Depending.
The man.
Thank you. So remember, that's going to be a variable whenever we talk. Variable means the different things, right, that can cause something to sink or float.
Like,
okay, your turn.
When you're seeing all those things and you're in the ocean, like, they're like for something that you sit on.
Like a floaty?
It was like one of those examples.
A floaty?
Oh yeah, a floaty.
Yeah.
Or that's actually called a life preserver that you put used to. So that what does that do? Sink or float?
Float.
Float. Okay.
I think a rock can sink.
Okay, good. And then my green question is, how much does it measure? Okay, so we have to be a little bit more specific.
How much does a penny measure?
Using what?
A balance.
A balance. So let's say 1 being the lightest and 5 being the heaviest, right? Because we don't know, again, we would have to have a balance in front of us and actually measure a penny. So thinking about 1 being up here, like here's the balance, right? And we put a penny in there. One would be, let's see, the penny's over here. So 1 would be up here, right? Because it weighs nothing, maybe. Or if you think it weighs a little bit, maybe it's 3. And maybe if it weighs really heavy, maybe it's 5. So if this is my penny, 1 is up here, 5 is down here. What do you think? What do you think? You think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a penny. So how do you think it would be?
What is that?
I think we'll be
The empty side.
Like this side.
So it would be up here. This side would be lower. The empty side, the penny would mean nothing. It would be just maybe even.